Well, I'm Joe Mac Hudspeth Jr. Live down in Rankin County, Mississippi. Out the window here is Ross Barnett Reservoir, a place where I do an awful lot of my wildlife photography. This time of year, it's end of June, I try to photograph little green herons and purple gallinules and great egrets and great blue herons and all of our spring migrants that have come up from the Central America. That's an anhinga. You see him, he's flopping his wings. They are fish eaters, and they dive up under the water and swim, catch fish. But they don't have any oil in their feathers, so before they can fly, they have to dry them off, and that's what he's doing. He's got it stretched out there, trying to dry them off so he can get up and fly. Catfish farmers are not fond of these babies because they will absolutely. Here he goes. There, he's trying to go. He's not making a lot of progress, but he may get up. This boat is called a poke boat. You can see I've used it quite a bit. I've had it about 15 years. This thing lets me get around to a lot of places that you can't get in other boats. I took an old tripod and modified it to fit here to hold my lens and camera with a bungee cord. Pretty high dollar situation.
It's going to be fun run-ins with alligators on the
Yeah, you might say so. And it's about this time of year. I'm surprised we don't see any out here right now. It's breeding season, and they're very territorial. I was putting in out here one day several years ago, and all the way over against those far cattails, about a 12-footer came up, and he was totally displaying. In other words, you could see his whole body, his nose, tip of his nose, and tip of his tail, and everything in between. And I was setting up just like I am now, and really wasn't paying him any attention. I looked up when I pushed off, and when I got about where these lotus are, he was just on the other side of that vegetation coming straight toward me with water kicking up over his nose. I figured I might ought to back off a little bit, which I did. Then I was steady photographing him, and I ran out of film, and what came next just really made me sick because he came completely out of the water with both of his legs out, and he turned his back to me, and he had about an 8-pound catfish sticking out both sides of his mouth, and I didn't have any film to get the shot, so I just sat there, and I didn't cry, but I sure did want to. I've got some moorhen right here. This guy's in this gator weed I was telling you about. And I seen him moving in there. But I can't see enough to even attempt to photograph. I see a mama and a bunch of young down here. I got a feeling she's making all that noise because of me. No, she's not raising Cain at me. She's raising Cain because there's a big old gator over there. Probably about 7 or 8 feet long. And it is between her and one of her young'uns, and she is not one bit happy with that. These 7 or 8 foot gators don't bother me too bad, but when they get bigger than that, I kind of have a tendency to give them plenty of space. He's not real happy with me. I don't know if you can see him, but he's easing on. Because he sure had these young moorhens cornered up, and Mama was not happy with him one bit. They'll give me one shot. Please stand still. Been doing this a little over 20 years. It's just something I'd always wanted to do when I was growing up in Lafayette County. Always carried a little pocket Instamatic with me at the deer camp to photograph deer and turkey we'd harvested or stringers of fish, and just always wanted to do it. And finally saved my nickels and dimes and bought a fine automatic camera and a 100 to 300 millimeter zoom and a wide angle and a 1995 tripod, and rode around out here in my little Toyota Corolla and just figured it'd be just, you know, a couple of months before I'd be on the cover of Ducks Unlimited. And didn't learn anything about photography, exposures, f-stops, shutter speeds, none of that, and tried to shoot it all on automatic, and find out real quick that even if you've got a camera, wild animals just don't want you to walk up in their face. I saved my nickels and dimes again and bought a 300 millimeter Tamron lens with a f2.8 aperture, and figured out real quick that even with this big heavy piece of lens, I still had to be 20 or 25 feet from the ducks, which meant I had to come up with a blind that they would be comfortable with and swim up to. So for the next year, I experimented with blinds made out of wood and conduit and PVC, you name it, and kept experimenting. I put it out where I wanted them to be. There's a nice big log about 20, 25 feet away that I figured they'd look good perched up on there preening, and the ducks would come in early, but before I had enough light to shoot, they would swim off 50 or 60 yards from me, and 50 or 60 yards away with wood ducks, you can't even tell what kind of ducks they are through that lens. So one day I got the bright idea the best thing I could do is move my blind over there. So I loaded it up and moved it over there where they were and put some natural camouflage around it and waited a couple of weeks and got in it about 30 minutes before daylight. And daylight, here they came. There must have been 25 or 26 wood ducks all within a matter of feet from me. And that morning I took more rolls of film of wood ducks than I took the whole year put together previously. I think I took 10 rolls of film, 8 or 10. And this is my lens. 5-pound coffee can on a stick, and I'll stick it out in front so it will look like a camera lens sticking out of that blind. I want them to get used to that because I have seen them come up to the blind and see it when I wasn't using these, and it would spook them. But that's how I got started, and Lord, I've been probably published over 900 times in magazines, just from sending them out to different magazines here or there, and have been on 10 of Mississippi's, all 10 of their sportsman's license, and have done 9. This will be my 9th duck stamp for the state of Mississippi. And I had a coffee table book the University Press published a couple of years ago, and that came from just doing a slide presentation to the Oxford, Mississippi Garden Club. Generally, I just photograph here in Mississippi. I still have a real job. I'm a sales rep for a magazine. During the week, I can get out here early and photograph a couple hours because there's a sales rep, nobody wants to talk to a salesman first thing in the morning. So I can come out here and get here at 6, photograph till 8:30 or 9 o'clock, load up and get home. Just keep on keeping on.
What is that?
That's a great blue heron. He is locked on. He sees something. It may be a crawdad, or it could be a little snake, or a salamander, or I've even seen them eat small turtles. Maybe a fish, but he is ready to go. All of that used to be water out there. Now it's grown up in this hyacinth gator weed.